Welcome back to another episode of Wild Sports. I'm Fu, got my boy Sean here with me.
Yup.
And we are going to do a little preview of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yes.
Big week for the Dogs. Another big week. Another big win for the Dogs.
Another big week, another big win, just like you said. Spread was minus 10.5. The over-under was 58.5. Georgia almost covered the over on their own. The final being 52-17 Dogs. What a game to be in attendance for. Just an absolutely electric atmosphere. It was just an all-around ass-kicking once the Dogs settled in. Very start of the game, the place was so loud. We caused one of our patented false starts by shifting our D-line. Very first play of the game. Place was erupting. That drive, we got them to a 3rd and long, and I think it was like a QB, not draw, but scramble play because it was being so well covered. They ended up getting the first down. They go down and score nickel diamond the entire way, which is kind of what they did for the first quarter and a half of the game. UGA answered immediately with much more dominant plays. When I mean dominant, but I just refer to the yards per play on those drives, and it just looks much easier to get downfield. They got the ball back one more time before the first quarter ended to punch another one in pretty easily. Ole Miss had another methodical drive, 5-7 yards, 5-7 yards, so on and so forth, to make it 14-14, which at that point I just looked over at Brian and I said, man, we came to this game, a game we thought we were just going to come in and dominate. I was like, it looks like we're going to be in a shootout, which is, it's fun. But man, I couldn't have been more wrong. We couldn't have been more wrong, him and I. Because, once they did that, they went and scored 31 unanswered. Broke it out to 45-14. The young linebackers for Georgia are really starting to come into their own. The whole defense settled down. The DBs were playing pretty well. We do have a little weak point on defense in the defensive back area, but it's not like he's not always in the dude's grill. He just gives up catches, big catches too. UGA just absolutely dominated the entire game. Atmosphere was great. I'm so glad I went. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, we were definitely off on our predictions.
Mm-hmm.
I had 30-23. You had 34-24.
Yep.
So a little off there, but yeah, same thing. I think that, like you kind of brought it up, the most impressive stat to me was tied 14-14 and then 38-3 from that point out. And that was early. That was Ole Miss scored, I think, 14 minutes in the second quarter. So basically the start of the second quarter. So it was a ball game for a quarter, and then it was over. Total yards, Georgia 611. What a kind of quiet, dominating offense they've got rolling.
It was so quiet that game because it was just like I was at the game. I know we put up 50 points. I didn't see 600 yards.
No, it's just great, and it seems like that's been the MO this whole year. It's not like this flashy, like Jaden Daniels and LSU, like this crazy, just huge plays. It's just just chunk after chunk, and it just, by the end of the game, it's just like, wait, what? 611 to 352 total yards, so just absolutely dominant. 300 yards rushing for Georgia. And do you see Kendall Milton kind of taking over y'all's backfield?
He's finally healthy.
He glides, man. He's just he's a glider.
He looks like Henry a lot when he runs.
Yeah, he's a gliding type runner. Yeah, he's a gliding type runner. He had 9 carries, 127 yards, so he's averaging 14 yards a pop, 2 touchdowns. Edwards, 12 carries for 59, 2 touchdowns, so he's still averaging 5 yards a carry. Roderick, he had 2 carries for 37. I mean, y'all spread it out. I mean, there was a bunch of guys. Carson Beck even got in the mix for 30 yards. But another solid day out of him. It seems like every week, just 18 of 25, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick.
And that interception was tipped by his receiver, too.
Yeah. So, just it's just getting spread out. I mean, the receivers, it's all down the board. Everybody, Ladd McConkey with the best, 4 receptions, 81 yards, a touchdown. So he's starting to show his head.
He was wide open every play, by the way. Because I was like, you know what? There's one play, it was the one that he should have caught a touchdown on. But instead, Carson was a little late, and then he underthrew him.
Yeah.
He did this double move on the corner, and I literally just McConkey. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch him the rest of the day because whatever. He was so open on so many different plays. I'm talking like no one within 12 yards.
Yeah,
it was insane.
Yeah, I guess he's back healthy. He was. I kept asking every week, what's the deal with Ladd? I know he's a stud, and he's starting to obviously show he's healthy. Brock Bowers plays a little bit, 3 catches, 34 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, he got in the mix a little bit in the past game. Just an overall, dominating, even defensive wise. Dart didn't do anything, It's 10 of 17, 112 yards and a pick. It's a solid day for the Georgia defense there. And Quinton Junkin.
A couple of side notes I had. It was incredible to see Brock out there, just like you said. You always want to see the best players on the field, whether you're an opponent or a fan of the team. This is the healthiest that Georgia's been all season. Almost all the starters, if not all, played together for the first time this Saturday. I already mentioned the atmosphere, absolutely electric. Senior night was great. Recognizing past dogs, Keeley, Jordan Davis, everyone but Jalen Carter was there. Our guy, Stetson Bennett, was there. My guy, hell yeah.
They let him out on a pass. They let him out on a weekend pass.
So. I wish we knew what was going on. I think you're right, but I wish we knew for sure. Last note, I think the college football playoff committee finally got it right. They finally bumped us up again above the sorry-ass Kyle McCord-led Ohio State Buckeyes. They didn't drop Ole Miss too far. They didn't drop Missouri too far when they lost. They finally showed the equal respect to the losers and the winner of the game for the first time this season. But yeah, absolutely incredible game to go to. Nice and cold and rainy. Timothy Miller was there. So glad he was there because there's nobody like him.
Just not a performer, He's just stale.
No. There's a reason he goes to Braves and dog games.
Because they're both in Georgia. He doesn't even get out of the state. He doesn't even get out of the state.
He does.
He's hemmed up to a state, dude. They keep him in state lines.
Because we know how good he is.
I'm Mr. International, dude. I go everywhere to sing.
You go nowhere.
Anyway, moving on to this week, a part of your gauntlet that you speak of.
Yes, the last game of the gauntlet.
Oh, no.
Our final stop.
No. Your final stop is in December, my friend.
No. That's not part of the gauntlet, though. Because that wasn't guaranteed.
December. Tennessee, at Tennessee.
Yes. Is there a tracker on the stadium?
Ooh, I don't know, but I'm telling you, dude, that's the loudest stadium I've been to. I've been to.
Yeah, I respect your opinion, and I've always told people that's probably the loudest in the country.
I have been to all the SEC schools except Texas A&M. Missouri, who you say is just absolutely deafening.
I never said anything about their sound.
So I've never been to those two. And Tennessee is different when it comes to crowd noise. So 2:30. It's a 2:30 game, so that's a good thing. It's not a night game. Georgia -10, so they've got it actually pretty tight. That might be y'all's closest spread all year, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Tennessee coming off an absolute just curb stomp from Mizzou, 36-7 last week. Georgia curb stomping Ole Miss. I'm seeing is the crowd a factor? I think that can only help to a certain extent. If it's a close game, I think that's when it comes into play for close games. Georgia going third straight big game in a row. So fourth.
Florida, bro. Rivalry.
What? Dude,
Florida.
Come on, dude.
Rivalry. You
know how it is, Auburn. There's a good shot Florida only wins 5 games. There's a good shot Florida wins 5 games this year. Auburn's already got 6 wins.
I'm not talking about this year. I'm just talking about years where they aren't good. They still play you tough.
First off, Auburn-Alabama is a way bigger rivalry, and it's played in Jordan-Hare, not at a neutral site ever.
So, is that my call? Is that my call?
Don't try and compare Georgia, Florida to Alabama, Auburn. Don't even attempt.
What I'm comparing it to is the biggest rival on your roster or on your schedule.
Florida's y'all's biggest rival? Oh, yeah, that's right, because your in-state rivalry that you get to play every year is an absolute cakewalk. Sorry, Wilkie.
Yeah, the tickets are $40.
That's crazy. Yeah. I was looking at Iron Bowl tickets, and they were like $400.
Yeah.
It's like, what? They're more than SEC championship tickets. But anyway, so I guess their 4th big game in a row. And I think this is a game that Tennessee gets to play with absolutely nothing to lose. Mm-hmm. They're going in it just
which is
completely
terrifying.
Completely trying to play spoiler, but the good news is Tennessee is not playing good football. But they still have Joe Milton, the squirrel. The squirrel tore us up, wide receiver. So how do those things play into it? I mean, I think Georgia is playing the best football they've played all year.
I agree.
Completely. I mean, they just got to continue to play the way they've been playing, keep back rolling. The run game has just been dominant here lately.
Great.
Control that clock. It's kind of the same thing I said when Alabama's playing was just keep Joe Milton off the field. Because he's kind of the wild card. He's that quarterback that that he's got the talent to be really good and he can make it a bad day for you, but don't let him have that day.
Right.
You can't let Joe Milton live up to his preseason hype because he hadn't been bad this year, but he hadn't been great like what everybody was thinking. So don't let him live up to that hype. And just continue to play that Georgia football that they've been playing the last 4 weeks. Dominating football. So what you got? What's your thoughts on it?
Like you said, Georgia -10, over under 58.5. This is going to be the toughest environment we play in all season, unless we start to get ahead of them. Like you said, close game. Tennessee struggled against Missouri on the road, 36-7. I think that was a little bit of a revenge game for Missouri from last year. And I think we saw a little bit of a nasty handshake at the end of the game.
Yeah, I saw Heupel talking smack.
Yeah.
Heupel, Drinkwitz.
Drinkwitz, yeah. I think they're going to be a different football team on Saturday. They want revenge. UGA knocked them out of the college football playoff conversation last year, and did so very handedly at that. I'm sure that this game has been circled on their calendars for a while. Tennessee has a pretty good rush defense, only allowing 3.17 yards per carry. but they're ranked 69th in the country in passing yards allowed per game. So this might be another, Beck 300, 350-yard game as long as he protects the football. All that being said, I think this is going to be pretty similar to last week's game against Ole Miss, where it's close early on and then UGA pulls away and then maybe gives up a late score. I could see that being the exact same as last week. Protect the ball, keep the offense rolling. Bobo's calling great games. What you got?
Prediction-wise, I wrote it down. I've got 38-13. I don't see this game being close.
Okay.
I think Georgia. Okay, maybe like the Florida game.
So
where
you're
maybe where Tennessee jumps out one early. Maybe they come out riding high and get one early. Kind of what you've seen Georgia do a bunch of times this year.
Yeah, for the last month.
Literally, I mean, I think y'all started off with South Carolina that way, didn't you?
Yeah, no, it's been every team. Literally,
so it seems like every team.
Quick.
So I'm going to ride that train. I think Tennessee scores first, and then it's all downhill from there. So I got 38-13 Georgia.
Okay, so you've got.
I see no problems.
You've got Georgia covering in the under. The under pretty handily.
Yes. By a touchdown.
38-13, 51 points. Yeah, you got
it by touchdown. Yeah.
So I've got Georgia covering the spread.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the under by a half a point. I've got 41-17 dogs. So, I mean, we're pretty much the same.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I have an extra score in there.
So, everybody out here, we're saying to go hammer Georgia.
Yes, we are.
I'm kind of shocked by that 10-point spread. I mean, a lot of times I think when I see those things, it's like, wait a minute.
I was thinking 13.5 lowest.
I was thinking it was going to be like a 17 to 20-ish. I just don't think tennis. I mean, they just got hammered last week.
Yeah, I will say Kirby came out and said that this was the worst Bloody Tuesday we've had in years. He's not happy with how we came out in practice yesterday, and he hopefully gets their asses in line before Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia's been pretty dominant, and yeah, I'd say probably 14-17 is probably what I would expect. Maybe not 20. 20 is a little much.
Yeah, 20's up there.
But I don't know. I think Tennessee's kind of, they had such high expectations going in the season, and they sit at 7-3, staring 7-4. They're staring an 8-4 season in the face. And I think emotion only carry you so far into a football game. I mean, that works for a little bit, but against a team of Georgia's caliber, you can't ride that train for 4 quarters. It doesn't work. It's all about. That's what I was listening to, like Lane Kiffin this morning on the radio, and he was just like, "Look, we did our best to get them prepared, but it comes down to we played a team that does all the little things right for 4 quarters, and it's hard to beat a team like that." And I just think that's kind of what Tennessee's about to run into. So,
hopefully.
Y'all let us know what you think, though. How you feeling about the Bulldogs? How do you feel about last week? What are you thinking this week? What are you thinking about December?
I'm not thinking about it yet.
Okay, Coach Saban. You're a fan. Don't act like you're
I'm not thinking about it.
You're not. No, you're not a coach.
Only thing I'm thinking about is who we got to go shake down in Bama.
You better shake down that Amazon card is what I'm saying.
Who we got to...
You better shake down that Amazon card.
What house we got to hit?
Y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about the Dogs. How are you feeling this week? Give us a prediction. Let us know your predictions down below. We appreciate y'all coming out. We'll check in again next week. See ya.